What's up, everybody? This is the first video podcast that we've ever done. So welcome. We've got Josh and Doug. I just forgot your name.
Cool.
Holy shit, I'm such an asshole.
No, it's all good.
Modern Electrician
I forget
Podcast.
my name sometimes.
I'm still a little buzzing from last night. So last night was a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Hear you went out in the town last night?
Yeah, man, last night was a really good time. Austin's wild.
Austin kind of goes hard.
Yeah, Austin goes way hard.
For those of you who don't know, we're at NECA 2022. So we're in Austin. These guys came out and we had ACL happening this weekend. So downtown has been crazy. My voice has been in and out. We had a UT game that was happening this weekend, and then 6th Street just goes hard as it is. So there's lots of video footage that you're probably going to see on their social of
Big
really
time
inappropriate
already.
things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you think of this? Have you guys ever been to NECA before?
First time, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. Have you been to any kind of a festival stuff
No.
for electricians?
No.
Okay.
This is our first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our company's only a couple years old, so this was our first opportunity to really take some time and come check it out. And this is it. This is like, our people are here.
Yeah.
You just walk 5 steps, and then you just geek out hard with another person.
Check this tool out.
Yeah.
Check this material out.
It's the best.
And it seems like we thought maybe it's definitely geared towards commercial and industrial. We do a lot of residential.
Yeah.
But there's still so much here for us.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it's largely union based too. So
Yeah.
a lot of times when non-union people are here, it's like, well, wait, you're not even in the union. Why are you
Yeah.
here? And it's like, because I'm an electrician. I'm a
Right,
nerd.
yeah,
and I love
yeah.
this stuff. It
Well,
doesn't matter.
and we're networking.
Yeah,
We're getting to
dude.
meet people.
Yeah.
We know.
And looking for solutions too. There are definitely some solutions to some issues that we've been coming up against in the field that we were looking for here, and we found a couple, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's some of the coolest stuff that you've seen so far that you were not expecting?
What do you think?
I mean, I think that the EV car chargers. We do a lot of EV car chargers
Okay.
in residence, and we're having a big issue with loads and load shedding.
Yeah.
And we found a product that takes care of exactly what we need.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
about
Exactly what we were looking for, man.
Really?
That was what I really wanted to see here. It's been a big problem. We've had to say no to some people who want EV chargers. And, obviously we're experiencing issues with the grid. But then we live in a historic town. A lot of the local transformers, we're getting engineers from the local utility saying you can't do it. You can't, they would have to upsize the transformer. They want to pass that price to the customer.
Yeah.
So this little load shed module with this EV charger,
Just fixes it.
fixes it like it should.
Yeah.
That's
it's
great.
Like, sweet, man.
That's awesome.
So we made contacts with them, and then just ran into a bunch of we're big fans of the ferret tool. I don't know if you use the ferret tool. It's a little cylindrical camera with an LED light built into it that you hook. You can screw onto the end of your pull stick. And
okay.
it's got a hook that goes on the end of the camera, so your camera goes around and you can see the hook, and that's how
And then
we get
just
fishing
hook it?
done, dude.
Oh
It's-
my
it's a
God,
game
for real?
changer.
And it puts
And
off
it's on
its
sticks?
It
Or
puts
you
off
put it
its
on
own
your foot?
Wi-Fi signal.
It puts out its own Wi-Fi signal.
You can attach
no
it.
way,
you can
for real?
You can attach it. They put adapters in there. You can attach it to any make of fish sticks
Yeah.
that you want.
Yep.
It
and
comes with a hook and a magnet. It's got a
Yep.
light on it that you can adjust. You can record the video.
Yeah, so you get
All right,
video.
we
it
need to check that out,
yeah,
by the
it's
way, before we leave,
amazing, amazing.
guys.
It dumps video
Yeah.
content straight to your phone, and so then you can upload that content. Now you've got content
You're
for
you're just making
your
content
platform.
as you're
Yeah.
solving a problem. And
It's
we
awesome.
told them earlier, it's like it's got a hook on it, and you're trying to grab this wire, and you go from being frustrated to fishing to playing the claw machine game.
Yeah, it's like
amazing.
gamifying it.
Yeah, and then you
That's so
snag it, and you're
cool.
like, yes.
Yeah,
All
and you
right.
can hear. It picks up audio, so you can hear the celebration that takes place after like 10 minutes of trying to get this ridiculous pull, and it's bailed us out a couple times.
Wow.
So we were excited
yeah.
to just run
And it's
into
called
them.
the ferret tool?
Ferret
Yeah.
tool.
That's
yeah.
like the brand of it?
Ferret. Yeah,
Yeah, Ferret.
And they're right over here.
Yeah, it's-
next to like the Hilti crew.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's
Yeah, awesome.
so good, man.
So much cool stuff. I mean, just to
Yeah.
go geek out
We're
everywhere.
tool nerds.
We're tool nerds.
Right?
Yeah,
All
dude,
right.
I stopped at Fluke and they've got this energy monitor deal and they didn't have any batteries in it, so they couldn't do a live test
Oh,
of it.
man.
But everything with visual displays too, like having an oscilloscope, being able
Yeah.
to see diagnostics and leave a piece of a test equipment inside of a machine or a facility
Right.
and to record everything and see what's happening, what
Yep.
spikes are happening and all that. That I find is really cool.
Yeah.
Those are game changers because as a contractor, you're designed. Your whole purpose is to solve problems.
Right.
And so these guys are helping us solve problems more efficiently, better, more professionally.
Yeah.
We saw one today that was a company that makes tracers, circuit tracers. Did you see that one? They have a new, their tracer is basically like, the way that it's designed is it's numbered like a panel, and you can literally stick CT clamps in every single if you've got a 42 circuit tracer, and it sends out digital signals, and you can go around the house and just touch a receptacle or the hot line of a switch, and it will numerically tell you what breaker. I'm like,
What? Holy crap.
And here's the beauty of NECA, right? You said it's a new tracer. That guy told us it's been out for 10 years.
Yeah.
Holy shit, for real?
Yeah, right.
But I wouldn't
No,
know that until I strolled
unless
through
you
here.
came here.
I mean, we get an electrical contractors magazine, and there's some stuff in there, but still, it's like you're limited to what you experience and encounter.
Well, and the thing about it too is like a lot of the magazines are not set up as like look at these tools. It's like there's some articles about lighting and about things going on in the industry, and there just happens to be like tucked in tool things. But I think like a whole tool magazine, people would love it if it's just like this is only tools.
That's
it's
dude, Playboy for electricians. There's like a centerfold with like a big whole hog from Milwaukee. Like,
we should do that.
Yeah.
All right, that's a new brand that we're starting. We're gonna have the first ever magazine, and we will even call it
tool
Playboy.
porn. Yeah, tool porn.
That's already a thing for guys that like tools.
That's right. That's
on
right.
Reddit.
There's got to be a word that sums up electrical
It's
tools.
got to be like a French word or
It's got to
something.
be
To make it real classy.
And it can't have anything to do with Tool the band.
Yeah,
it could.
Right.
But
It could.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, cool.
There's lawsuits there.
There are.
Yeah. So the other thing that I like is that every time I come to one of these, I find people like y'all that are content creators. And I loved you just networking and meeting with
That's
people.
That's been the best part.
Yeah.
It's been the best part. I mean, to come to a place where there are thousands of people, and in a state that you're not from, and then to have 10 friends.
Yeah, it's like I've known you for years on the internet, but like
awesome.
we didn't even get all the way into the convention yesterday morning.
Yeah.
And Mags was walking down the hallway.
Yeah. She's like, I'm late for this. Because she partied the night before too.
Yeah. She
goes
walked
hard
up
too,
to me with an Electrician U hat and an Electrician U shirt on, and she was like, "This is like, oh my god, what's up, dude?"
So fun.
Yeah, man.
It's a blast. We're having a great time. We're real tired.
Yeah. Well, there's more of these that happen. They're not all NECA.
Yeah, we found that out too.
Yeah. So like CES, I think is coming up in the beginning of the year. That's Consumer Electronics. So it's more like it's not just electrical, it's all things that are electronic. There's stuff like crypto, and if you're like a nerd into that, there's solar, there's wind powered stuff, there's like robotics and
where is that going to be this year?
That's in Vegas.
Whoa.
So you think you had fun here on 6th Street?
I'm gonna have to clear this. We're gonna have to clear this with our wives.
Oh yeah, I'm single, man. I don't have to worry about that no more.
Maybe we'll bring it.
But then I think Milwaukee does NPS every year, so it's a big, they take influencers, they bring everybody in, they tour their entire factory, show you everything that they're making.
That's rad.
Some stuff they don't let you film, they're really like tight lid on stuff.
That makes sense.
I got to go to Klein's factory recently.
I was like sitting at home watching your videos in the Klein factory, like living vicariously through you. It's like a little
Look at
boy's
the thing, it's glowing and it drops and then they hammer it.
It's so cool.
That was the other thing last night, right? So it's like, we always talk about on our podcast, the rumors that pass around in the industry and they get perpetuated, right? And I had heard that Klein was making their pliers in America with Chinese steel. And it got repeated and repeated.
That's not true.
Last night we went to an event, right? No. Klein was there talking. That was one of the first things they addressed.
Yeah.
And I was like,
okay.
Granted, I didn't need to come all the way to Austin, Texas to learn that.
No.
But it happened.
Yeah.
No, and even on my videos, I said that. I think it was like Tennessee that their steel comes from, like specifically where it is.
Okay.
But yeah, and then every process along the way, and I was hoping in my videos to show that. It's like even the people assembling everything, it's like it's shooting down on something. They're taking packages, filling packages, snapping it together, putting it in boxes, bundling it, slides into a truck, and it's off. And it's like, holy shit, dude, the entire thing all the way.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What a cool experience to get to do that, man.
Yeah.
So I talked to Greenlee, and Greenlee's interested in doing the same thing. They're like, we would love to have you come up and tour through our stuff. And
watch out, they party.
I know. They seem like the kind of crowd, and I love that.
Down. Yeah, that's
getting
fun.
to be like that's my favorite part. Is like I get to network with all these other brands, and because I've got a platform, it's like they'll let me just kind of see things and do things, and like gaining that kind of relationship. That's what I love.
It's awesome, man. It's been such a good time.
What do you think's the craziest thing that you probably would never use, but like you just saw and you're like, holy shit, that's so cool?
So many of the power tools.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Pretty much everything iTool makes, I would never use,
Yeah.
but it's all dope.
A lot of it's geared towards either like big commercial or plumbers, but like there's so many of those massive, like Milwaukee has that new like massive battery pack.
Yeah.
They're like getting into concrete work.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, they have a jackhammer, a battery-powered jackhammer.
Yeah.
I would never
Bananas.
use that.
Yeah, that whole MX Fuel line of
Fuel,
batteries,
yeah.
there's tons of monster equipment that they'll
Yeah.
do. They do those like compactor things. They've got, they sent me an on-site generator. It's not really a generator. It's like a power supply, like a battery essentially. But you stick one of the batteries on top, stick one of them on the bottom, and it's heavy as shit. It's like a dirt bike that you're carrying around.
Wow.
But you can run an entire job site off of that instead of needing to have a generator.
That's wild.
Pretty dope.
Love it.
They're heavy and expensive.
Yeah. Also, just seeing the massive scale of like, because we don't work industrial, seeing some of those things like the rigid pipe benders that are like pneumatic and or hydraulic or whatever they are, they're just enormous.
Yeah.
So to just think about that,
we never do any.
we never do any of that kind of stuff. So the most we're doing is 1 inch, messing it up the whole time.
It's always a letdown for the poor reps here. They're like, hey guys, we're talking. And we're like, we don't do that. They're like, okay.
Half the people are, it's like, so can we interest you in some, it's like, you can't.
Yeah. So one cool thing that I got from Schneider is they are going to send me a battery backup system. It's like this huge, like really it's meant for huge facilities that have battery UPS systems. But it's for specifically for 3-phase. So it's battery backup. There's these banks of batteries that slide into them, and it's all 3-phase. But they didn't realize that my studio is single-phase. Okay. So I was like, well, shit. To be able to film content for this, I need a phase converter. And they're like, oh, well, we'll send you a phase converter too. And I'm like,
what?
Yes, dude. So yeah, like I've been wanting to do a whole bunch of 3-phase content and stuff like that, but like just being able to mess with that stuff. They have one specifically for gamers too. It's like a residential little thing, and it's specifically for anybody that does, gaming. They've got a PC or they've got an Xbox or something hooked up to it. Josh thought that was really cool because he's a gamer, and so getting to test all of that stuff out, I'm really excited about. There was some aluminum conduit here that pulling through aluminum conduit kind of sucks. There's just a lot of drag on it. It's really lightweight and it's like super easy to bend, but typically trying to pull through it sucks because it's really powdery and chalky on the inside. So you don't do 4 bends in aluminum conduit, you do 2 bends usually. But they have this blue coating stuff that goes all the way through it. It's like a Teflon coating that just makes it slick as shit. So now you've got this conduit that you can take an entire bundle of it and carry it like nothing.
Really?
Forklifts, easy to, They dropped a whole pallet off at my shop the other day. It was like 6,000 feet of pipe, or like 16,000 feet of pipe or something like that.
Holy
and it was
moly.
all 1 inch and 1/2 inch, or 3/4. And it was all aluminum. And they make aluminum rigid too.
Really?
So
Wow.
it's galvanized still, but
Yeah.
it's just aluminum. So you still can't bury it in direct contact with earth because it's still going to get rotted away.
Right.
But if you're needing something that's thick wall aluminum, they use rigid. It's got rigid couplings and everything. It's still UL listed.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love all of the, just as the industry moves, and it moves quickly, and it's moving quickly in all these directions, just seeing all of the solutions and everybody deciding what to take on.
Yeah.
Everybody's got EV chargers now. Siemens, Eaton, Leviton, and they were saying the same thing. They said they were doing it like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Did you see the VR shit?
No.
Everybody's developing VR now too, so like there's a big push to get students to put VR goggles on, get them out in the field, because that's these schools, a lot of trade schools, they don't actually give experience to kids.
Yeah.
That's the downfall
Just
of the trade
knowledge,
school, is being able to go into an apprenticeship and go out in the field. That's what you learn. So if they can bring learning into a classroom environment and still show people in the field and have them kind of practice things, just that tactile ability to process that information and understand what tools to use and how to like lift something up to drill, Yeah, once you get on the field, it's like, oh, now I'm just grabbing the things and I already know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's really cool, but just seeing the technology side of this.
It's cool. There are things there. There was one thing we noticed yesterday at while we were doing the testing the Milwaukee stapler, which I really like.
Yeah.
The guy said he the guy that was showcasing the tool said he was like, yeah, this is going to cut down on like the dangers of swinging a hammer. And I looked at Josh. I was like, the dangers
The
of
hazards associated with swinging a hammer.
Yeah.
It's like,
what?
I mean, fingers,
always-
I can't tell you how many times I have
but I mean,
broken
but
fingers,
like,
but that's about
but I
it.
mean, there is a level of pride that comes with swinging a hammer.
But my curiosity goes to like, well, where does that go? Because it's like, it is great. when you have that tool and it's easy. But what if you run out of those staples or the batteries?
What if you got to put a nail in?
Sure.
So you got to swing a hammer?
You can't, look.
Then you don't have any practice doing
If
it.
you don't swing a hammer.
Then you're going to be even worse. It's even more dangerous in the future.
It is.
If you're hitting it shoots off in your face.
So there is always that contrast between like where technology takes the industry, where technology takes the people in the industry, and it's like knowing analog before you learn digital. You know, I went to sound school when I was a kid, and they taught us everything analog before we did anything digital, because they wanted you to understand signal flow and all that stuff. Because it's important.
Yeah, there is a detachment. I think when you like to understand how music is in an MP3 player versus understanding how you used to record onto an actual tape, a cassette tape and everything, you just understand it in a different way and how it works and why it's doing that. And it helps you troubleshoot things.
Like old school stuff too, like something we experienced with our apprentice this year, ground rods. 8-foot ground rods. We've got mini sledges.
Backlash we caught for that.
We've got mini sledges, and we always just drive it. I think we even talked about this. I drive it in with a mini sledge.
You can actually get a ground rod in the ground where you're at?
That's the only way we did it.
Yeah, we can.
We don't.
Okay, got it. Okay.
We try.
You just lay it sideways? What do you do?
Yeah, so there's a
Yeah.
couple of different things. You can either do the 45-degree angle. You can try to get 30 inches down. You can land parallel. You can try to get it all the way down. But all of Austin, all of Central Texas is one gigantic rock, and it's about 6 inches under the ground.
Wow.
So it even, like, we've tried taking full 80-pound jackhammers with a little cup attachment. Doesn't fucking move them. You'll end up bending it, and it'll poke you in the ass behind you. It's the craziest shit. So we do the best that we can, but there is no way we're getting 25 ohms to ground anywhere.
So for us though, like with that instance, using the mini sledge, I made this video of our apprentice sledging that puppy in the ground, and we time lapsed it. And for me, it's like, for us, it's
a rite of passage.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, you got to put that work in.
And I think people were just joking. So many people were like, "Get that kid
get that boy a hammer drill."
Get a hammer drill, and it's like, no. Because what if you're on a job site and it's your you don't have the hammer drill for some reason, your battery's dead, you don't have the power, you know?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna not do it?
Yeah.
No, you pick up the sledge and you knock it in.
Does that mean that we got to go take those auger bits and try to figure out how to drill out a house with an auger because our drill battery's dead one day?
That's a good point, yeah. No, it's true. That's a good point.
Playing devil's advocate.
It's not a bad point. Yeah. But in that instance, I feel like that technology is still viable.
Yeah.
It's
Swinging a hammer will always be a necessity.
And it's just it's a mental state, because I think for him, I think he thought we were hazing him.
Yeah. Really?
He did.
I mean, kind of. You got to have that
too. Well, we were, because that's the thing.
bit.
Because the week before we hired him, I was the one driving him with a sledge.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing, is you
I'm
can't.
not hazing myself. It's like, you know, I've had the hammer drill get him halfway and stop, but the sledge will finish him.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know.
And once he did it, it was hard the first time. It's hard all the times. But once he did it, it changed his mind. And he was like, oh, okay. And sometimes all you need is for somebody to say, no, you can do that.
Yeah.
No, you just keep going.
Just keep
going.
And
then you see yourself do it.
And then you do it, and you're like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
Now, use the hammer drill the next time. You know, because I'm not trying to kill you, but
if
you need to, you can.
Yeah.
Old man stuff.
So talk a little bit about your guys' podcast, because you kind of like just went right into this, but anybody that's not like seen these beautiful faces before, what do you do?
So we're a trade-based cultural podcast. We basically just talk to people in the trades about why they do what they do. How do you know, there are a lot of electrical podcasts out there. There are a lot of trade podcasts out there. Ours focuses more on the culture and the life of the tradesperson. How you get up in the morning on a cold day where you don't feel great and overcome that. How do you overcome burnout? How do you deal with passing tests? There's a lot of inspiration and motivation and just positive reinforcement for anybody who is in the trades that wants to sit and listen to people geek out.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be about code or instructional how to. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be about electrical. It's just
doesn't.
And we touch on
hammers
that
and
sometimes.
wearing tools.
But it's how can you invest in yourself to get better?
And we do. I mean, we always inevitably get on some electrical tangent.
It's hard to stop.
It's hard to stop.
Yeah.
But it's more, we even there was one review that we got on Apple that I thought was interesting, and it was this guy that was like, this isn't about electrical.
He was mad.
He was like, he gave us 1 star, and he's like, it's not. They're talking about like, I don't care what you eat, I don't care how you stay motivated.
Then quit watching or quit listening.
Well, that's what's funny, and it's like also there are quite a few podcasts where they talk about technical things.
Yeah.
Just go listen to those.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And they're better at that than we
for
were.
sure.
Yeah, and I think at a certain point, I realized that with YouTube videos, it's like, at this point, I don't even read the comments anymore. I have people that like curate, like, hey, you should answer this, you should address this, even if it's negative stuff. I don't avoid, but I avoid like giving a shit about it and letting it affect me.
Sure. Yep.
Because there's just hateful fucking people out there, man, that have nothing good to contribute. And there's people out there that see other people liking what you're doing and seeing them conglomerate around you, and they just want to shit in your cereal bowl for that reason.
That's true.
And it's more of a problem about them. If they get the time to sit down and like shit on somebody that's trying to build something and do something great, fuck them, man.
I agree.
Don't even get them time of day.
Well, I think for us, it's like you, we love what we do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a certain thing. I think growing up, I was raised by tradespeople, like most guys in this field were, and I saw a lot of negative dudes and a lot of grumpy dudes,
pissed off, angry, drinking a lot kind of guys.
And it kept me out of the. I didn't get into trades till I was 35.
Oh, whoa, really?
For sure.
Okay.
I'm 8 years in the electrical trade. Just got my master's.
Okay. Dope, by the way. You're master too, right?
Yeah, he's been in it for 17 years. So the point of that is like my concern, and I was in the Marine Corps as well, and so similar demo. My concern was I wouldn't find happiness, or I might not be able to relate or do it.
Just more stuck.
Maybe. But what I found was just you can do it any way you want to, and in fact that's why we started our own company.
Yeah.
That's why we do the podcast, because it's like, look, you don't have to be grumpy, you don't have to be angry. In fact, if you're the kind of guy or person that wakes up and your first thought is, how can I do it better today?
Yeah.
Our podcast is for you, because that's all we do. Yeah. Just like wake up, overcome, made a mistake, screwed that up. Let's talk about how I screwed that up and what I could do better, because that's the reality of it.
Yeah. And I think people relate to that a lot more, so that's why I think your guys' content is great, because you're showing that you're just real people. Yeah. You're not trying to bullshit anybody.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're getting kind of a play-by-play into a small business as well.
Yeah.
We're 2.5 years into a business, and it's like, so we're not only discussing electrical stuff, lifestyle stuff, but like we're discussing what to do with the business. Where does the business go? What it's like for us.
Yeah. Why are we doing it this way?
Yeah. So many people want to show you the polished version of things, but it's like, that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
Just seeing the happy vacation pictures doesn't help anybody.
No.
Yeah. Have you noticed in comments and stuff that you get suggestions from older cats that are like, hey, maybe you guys should try doing this, or like...
Older cats aren't commenting.
Really? They love to on YouTube. But I think the video thing...
That might be different.
Yeah, the video thing, I think people natively are there to just be entertained in a different way. Let me educate you on some content.
Bring it.
So what I was taught by Facebook when I very first started doing all of this stuff is that there's 3 levels of content for people's attention levels.
Yeah.
And you have to make all 3. Okay. And so for me as a video creator, it's like there's people that are sitting here and they're like sitting on their phone, they're waiting for a bus. They got maybe 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They're scrolling for fast stuff that they want to consume.
That's
so like little bites of you guys doing silly stuff or whatever, your face pops up on their app when they open it, whatever app. So you got to have that kind of content. And then there's there was like a girl like eating a sandwich at her desk, and she had coffee sitting there, and it's like, all right, lunchtime. Now they got about 30 minutes to an hour to kill. Yeah. Much slower. They can sit and watch a YouTube video. They got time to like maybe learn something or whatever.
Right.
And then the third level is like the Joe Rogan 3 to 4 hour long podcast where he's tripping on mushrooms or something like that. And they're in bed like laying there like I want to be entertained. I'm turned off. So you have to make content for every kind of level of that, you know. Right. Or you don't have to. At least if you find like a niche or whatever. If you kind of figure out like who your audience is and what they're looking for, like that's the best part.
Well, I mean, I think social media is a great thing to bring up too, because all of this is fostered by that. So there are a lot of negative sides to social media, obviously, but like we would have never met you, and we would have never met any of the people. Like to roll into town and already have friends in a place you've never come, like I was saying, is like, it's pretty amazing. Yeah. And social media offers you this, it's free. It's an audience in your pocket. It's a gateway to communicate or share an idea or a thought. and whoever wants to listen can.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our approach.
And that's where I was going too, is
Yeah.
the comment section. So one thing I learned when I was doing Livewire and I was doing my Journey to Master stuff, I would get these older guys that are like, hey man, I love your videos, and 73 years in the trade or whatever, I've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
You should try doing this instead.
Okay.
That was obvious. I think it's, now that was a bad decision, but maybe try this or maybe try this. You should check this out.
That's wonderful.
You just get
so
direction from
helpful
people.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's great.
or even
That's
other
awesome.
people that were my age that were like 30 years old trying to figure this shit out on their own.
Yep.
They're like, I'm watching your stuff, but I'm using this and it's not working for me, but I found this. And so I love
We do
actually,
get that. We do get good feedback.
Yeah.
And just the community that at large, the feedback from the community in general is awesome. And with our platform, we're trying to open up more doors to engage and interact. Questions of the week, just ways to give people an opportunity to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if there's ever anything that I can do to help shine stuff on, like, I thought the other day it would be a good idea for you guys to join our Discord, and then we open up an entire channel that's just a podcast channel and like let you guys run with it.
Sounds good.
That's 4,000 baked in electricians right there, and just bringing your personalities and joking and sharing memes and shit like that.
Totally.
People getting to know who you are. I think it would be an easy transition to have them start listening to
Sounds
you.
wonderful.
So yeah, let me know if there's anything that I can ever help with.
We
awesome.
appreciate the hell out of you, sir.
Well, dude, thank you for your time.
Of course, yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
It's been a blast.
Really great meeting you, man.
That's great.
All right. The three masters of disasters. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.